So, welcome back to the Success Portal with me, Dr. Franklin, the life strategist. And today I will be talking to you. And as you have seen from the topic or the title below, can you be successful or can you succeed without a university degree? Can you succeed without a university degree? So I have had the opportunity of mentoring quite a number of people along my academic journey, and from the working environment, and also outside of the working environment, and also in different spiritual circles. I've had that privilege of meeting a lot of young people and being a mentor to them. And I always encourage them to go as far as possible in terms of attaining academic achievements in the form of diplomas, college certificates, or even a degree in a particular area. But one particular day, one of my mentees came to see me in my office, and he asked a pertinent question. He said that, do I really need a formal education to succeed? And he began to cite different examples of people who actually did not have a university degree, but were successful. And we know quite a number of those people. If you were just to Google them and just Google successful people who are college or university dropouts or who don't have degrees, I searched that and there were about 50 people. And at the top are the most prominent people. And for example, the owner of Facebook, Mike Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs was the brainchild of Apple. You've got Michael Dell, you've got Oprah Winfrey, you've got some musical artists, people basically from different walks of life who have succeeded and don't actually possess some form of university degree. So there are two issues then that come up here. So the first thing is to say, what exactly do you define as success? And I have done videos on that where I've explored the topic of success. What is success? So success means a lot of things to different people. And for the young people, they feel that being successful is having a lot of money in your bank account, driving big, expensive cars like Lamborghinis, Ferraris, having a private jet, having a boat, having lots of properties. And that's how they see and view success to be. And we should appreciate the fact that that is only one part of success. Being successful is more than just having material possessions. You can be successful in terms of prospering internally, that is emotionally, socially, in relationships, being successful in the area of academics, which may not necessarily have a financial gain. For example, I have been involved in teaching programs, teaching a lot of people in my area of specialty, and I derive satisfaction or joy from seeing my mentees advancing in their academic careers, them going on to teach other people, and my ability to impart knowledge and that knowledge being used to better the life of patients and to save patients' lives. So for me, I would deem that as being a certain measure of success, in that we are changing people's lives, we're saving lives, we're empowering young people to achieve certain level of academic success. So that's how I would see it. So if it's only about financial gain, then I think that is just one area. However, that is an important aspect, especially for young people. So it shouldn't be neglected. Financial success is important. People want to feel comfortable in this life. People want to access things. They don't want to feel restricted. they want to they want to have financial freedom, which is important. Then there is also the other aspect that one has to touch on in terms of academics. So when it comes to a university degree, you must understand that uh, these qualifications or are based on a certain curriculum, and a group of people have sat down to decide on what should be in a particular curriculum. For example, let's take for example, I come from a medical background, so the medical curriculum in across the globe involves there are certain core subjects that are you'd expect a doctor to know. For example, the physiology, basic physiology of the body, the anatomy, so that the doctor, when he's examining you, he knows exactly where he needs to examine. For example, if someone had a knee injury, so the doctor would need to know what are the structures of the knee and how should he examine the knee in order to elicit certain signs which will help them to come up with a provisional or working diagnosis before he orders specialized tests. So that requires a certain knowledge of the human anatomy. It requires the knowledge on how to actually apply that anatomy in order to perform a medical examination and use that as a way of coming up with the diagnosis. So the curriculum has to be set in order to make students who want to become doctors to go through that curriculum so that they're equipped. And various universities might have differences between a set curriculum, because then, things are advancing now. Some curricula might involve AI, artificial intelligence, or programming, or research work, and other universities might not include AI. So then the inclusion of certain subjects and certain topics is dependent on the people who set the curriculum. So that's what a degree is all about. It's a set curriculum that people have come up with within the academic circle, and they then credit a certain number of points to say, if you do this, you fulfill this, you've done this course, you've passed this course, and after you've passed all of these courses, you've got this amount of credits, then you qualify to have this degree. So in essence, it's something that a group of people or an academic community has sat down and decided on. But when it comes to life, the curriculum of life is vast. If you're going to study to be, for example, a doctor, it's going to take you, in our country, it takes you about 5 to 6 years to be able to become a doctor. You study everything, you go through everything, you pass all the exams. Then in 6 years, if you've passed everything, then you become a doctor based on what these people have said in terms of the curriculum. But when it comes to life, how many years do you have to go through the curriculum of life in order to understand how to navigate through life? So my point is, these degrees are based on a particular curriculum that somebody has set. However, having a degree is important because it gives you knowledge, it gives you understanding, it opens your mind to understand greater and critical things. It does not guarantee that you will succeed in life. Definitely not. There are more things that you will need in order to succeed in life. One thing that cannot be denied about the conventional educational system is that when you go through the educational system, it's undeniable. You are going to gain knowledge. So there are certain things that you have to learn in the educational system that you need in order just to live your day-to-day life. For example, the ability to read. So if you cannot read, how are you going to be able to read newspapers and read instructions on how to do things in your day-to-day life? So you need to be able to read. You also need to be able to write. And I know writing nowadays, most people don't write, they probably type. So, but still you need to learn that ability to use your particular language. It may not be necessarily English, it might be French, it might be Chinese or Spanish, but you need to be able to construct sentences. And somebody needs to teach you to do that. And then you need to be able to speak. And then you need to be able to comprehend and understand. These skills you need to be taught. You need someone to teach you. And these are the things that are taught in elementary school or in primary school. You don't have to actually go to a formal school to learn this, but somebody is going to teach you either at home. You don't have to necessarily sit behind a desk, but somebody needs to teach you the skills. You need to learn how to count. And so because when you enter the world, you need to count your money, you need to be able to know how much change there is, and you need to be able to understand if or kind of pick it up if someone is cheating you or shortchanging you somehow in the financial sector. So you need to understand numbers. You may not be a mathematician, but you need to understand numbers. So how are you going to understand these things if you have not been taught? And education, as I explained to that young man, is that it's not necessarily sitting behind a desk. It's knowledge. It's access to knowledge and the ability to assimilate this knowledge. So people like Mark Zuckerberg may not have a degree, but I can assure you the amount of knowledge that Mark Zuckerberg has is actually beyond a degree. It's way beyond that. So no one can actually come to him and say, okay, this amount of knowledge you have on this and this is the degree that we will bestow on you. But when it comes to the amount of information he probably has way more information than the average graduate coming out of a business school, because he has knowledge in tech, he has he's got a business acumen. In fact, he could actually become a lecturer himself and teach a course in the university because of the amount of knowledge that he has. So my point is, a degree is something that an institution will give you. The most important thing is the knowledge. Somebody said, when you go into an institution, what you actually live with or what you actually remember from what you've been taught is actually what you gained from the degree. So it's not so much about the qualification as it is about the knowledge. However, having a qualification does have an advantage in that there is a particular educational body that can vouch for the information that you have. And the perfect example that I would use is when you've got a pilot, someone who knows how to fly an aircraft. They know all the ins and outs. And for example, I'll give you the A380, which is one of my favorite aircrafts, one of the biggest aircrafts that are in our present day world. It takes a lot to know how to fly that particular aircraft. So someone could know how to fly it, but they will not be allowed to fly the aircraft unless some particular body actually vouches for the fact that this person has fulfilled a certain course, has gained the amount of knowledge that is required to safely fly the aircraft, and they have completed a certain number of tasks, they have completed a certain number of hours to ensure that they have reached a certain level of proficiency and knowledge of safety enough to be able to move this particular aircraft from one country to another and carry about 400 passengers safely to their destination. So, but at the end of the day, what matters is to have the knowledge. But for that knowledge to be kind of rubber stamped, you need an institution or a body to do that. So that's what universities do, that's what colleges do, that's what these professional bodies do, to actually say, this person does have this knowledge and we can vouch for that. But when it comes to life, it's a totally different ballgame. Even if someone can say they do vouch that you know this information, that's great, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a success. So I'm trying to help you to understand why people like Oprah and all of these people succeeded. It's not because they don't have a degree that was what gave them the key to succeed. It's because they understood that the conventional curriculum was not tailored for how they thought and how they saw the world. But in fact, the knowledge they have is equivalent, if not more, to actually having a degree. I hope that makes sense. So then the argument is, if you can gain all this knowledge, maybe by reading different books, going on YouTube, having a personal mentor, there are also courses that are available online. Is there any need to actually attend a formal education, a formal school? I would say that For majority of persons on this earth, I think it is wise to go through some form of formal education. But however, it's important to study something or to pursue something that is fit for purpose. And I will give an example in the institution that I was in, and I'd met quite a number of students. And as I say, I've been involved in mentorship programs. And I would ask some of the students at this particular university as to why they were pursuing certain courses. Some of them gave me some interesting responses. They said that the reason why they were doing a particular course or particular degree was because it was easy. It was easy for them. They are more likely to pass and not have any repeats or anything like that. And that's why they chose that course. So, and what then happened is that many people chose that particular course, and when the time of graduation came, many of them were graduated, but many of them actually couldn't get jobs because the market was just flooded with people with this particular qualification. So that's a very wrong way of approaching academics. One should never go for what is easy. Rather, you should aim to be fit for purpose. And in the world that we live in, technology is advancing. There's a lot that's coming up, like AI. There's a huge AI wave that came in 2023. So these are the things that one should look at, that probably I should look at technology. Probably I should look at things like AI, because these are the things in the future. So if you have a qualification that speaks to technology, speaks to things that involve AI and cryptography, you're more likely to get a job in the future. If you look at things that are like, you think, this is easy, I'm just going to go for that, you will probably have a problem in getting a job. And this is where the frustration of people comes. And then they end up saying, do I really need a degree to succeed? Because that comes from frustration. So from my aspect, and I'm involved in the medical field, there are lots of doctors. There's still a need for doctors, and I have entered kind of a specialized field. And in our field, it's not like you're going to, when you start working, you just become an instant millionaire. You have to work hard, and you have to be, you have to be dedicated. You have to be good at what you do. However, I would not think I would pursue something else because I'm chasing after money. There's also that aspect of fulfillment. So when you are going to study, or you're selecting a topic that you want to study or degree you want to study, you must also critically ask yourself that, is this something that I am really passionate about? Is this something that I can look back and say I made the right decision? Or am I just choosing the path of least resistance, and I don't want to do much work, I don't want to be bothered, I just want to get by and have a degree? Then those are the important questions you need to ask yourself. And sometimes the best things are not always the easy things, but in the future, they do pay quite well. And I want to say that I am happy and grateful for the decision that I took. It wasn't easy, but I do have job satisfaction. And each and every day that I go out and go and work, I'm passionate about what I do. I'm happy about what I do. I'm happy to add value to people's lives. I'm happy to save lives. I'm happy to facilitate the care of patients. I'm happy about what I do, and I'm satisfied by that. So that is what you actually need when you are pursuing your career. So rounding up this video, it's been long. Do you actually need a degree to succeed? The answer is yes, and the answer is also no. So yes, an emphatic yes, you can succeed without a degree, but remember, you do need a certain level of knowledge in order to navigate through life. And a degree is not an automatic answer for success. However, if you should use a degree to help you to get knowledge so that you are fit for purpose for the industry that you are going in. So if your university did not prepare you to be fit for purpose, then that's where the problem comes. But can you succeed without a degree? Yes. But am I advocating for that? No. I'm saying if you can get a formal education, get a formal education. You will not regret it, but also learn to think outside of the box. Know that you are being empowered in the university, but you need to use the knowledge that you gain from the university in order and apply it in order to be fit for purpose. And you need to be innovative. You need to be able to use that knowledge and use it and use it to push you forward, and use that knowledge and incorporate it into life issues, and use it to give you an edge over other people who don't have that knowledge. And that's where having a qualification, a college degree, makes a difference. Thank you so much for listening to me. This is Dr. Franklin, life strategist on the Success Portal, and goodbye.